Hamilton. Hamilton now leads.
Nice move, good job.
The most important win of his Formula One career.
What's going on, everyone? It's Justin here, and today I've got a video that I'm really excited about because it is about the brand new F1 2022 game. I want to give a huge thanks to EA Sports and Codemasters for sponsoring this video, and it's been so many years since I've looked forward to a game this much, and I've been following all of the previews and progressions of the new features and new era of the Formula One game that aligns with the new era of Formula One itself. I'm sure a lot of you guys remember my F1 sim video from a few months ago, and that video did a lot better than I expected, so it's great to see that you guys love Formula One. I've actually already attended a few races this year and really look forward to bringing more of that content to the channel because it seems to be stuff that you guys really enjoy. But the only thing I sort of wish I did a lot better in my Formula One simulator tour video is actually drive properly. To be honest, I had some technical issues while we're actually filming it, but I've had a lot of practice since, and I've gotten much better at each lap, and it is just so addicting to learn how to drive it through manual shifting, watching the videos on YouTube, and just continuously getting better. So in this video, we're going to be talking about some of the features and new additions to the 2022 Formula One game, as well as the VR experience. And on top of that, I'm also going to be doing a live stream with an expert who's going to be giving me some tips on my driving in order to improve my lap times. A lot of you guys commented in the last video where I got my Formula One suits, so I'm actually going to be giving them away in this video. So if you want to win it, just make sure you subscribe to the channel, drop a thumbs up on this video, and leave a comment down below of what your favorite team and driver is, and I'll be picking a winner in the comment section below in about a month and contacting you directly on Instagram, so make sure you leave your Instagram username. So before we jump into gameplay, here are some of the new features of the F1 22 game. The graphics are improved, the new tracks have been added, they've also made the tracks more accurate through laser scanning and added some of the changes that have been made in the real-life Formula One tracks as well. And in addition to that, of course, the cars have been updated in this new era of the sport. On top of that, the audio has also been re-engineered, but some of the most exciting features include just a more immersive experience. In the race mode, for example, you are able to do the formation lap and line up in your grid. There's also more interactive pit stops, as well as some more variability. And of course, whenever you're playing against a computer, you want the AI to be able to adapt and bring some hard racing. And they have also improved the AI drivers, so if you're just doing like a Grand Prix against the computer, it just makes it a lot more interesting and difficult to overtake because of the variability through the artificial intelligence. Perhaps one of the biggest improvements though, and something that a lot of you guys asked me to check out, is the virtual reality mode. And I feel like if there's any game that is perfect for a VR setup, it is Formula One. Just being able to have that peripheral vision with all of that feedback that I'm getting from my direct drive steering wheel just really completes all of that, so I can't wait to check this out. There's also F1 Life, which allows you to customize your space with new items throughout gameplay, on the in-game brand store, or the podium pass to be able to just add some more personality to your garage and your profile. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into some gameplay. And I'm gonna be doing like a voiceover commentary because I'm trying to focus while I'm driving, and I'm not quite good enough to the point where I can do like a full commentary while I'm trying to beat my lap times. So let's just go ahead and jump in. So going into some of the details of the changes, the biggest one in my opinion with every new game is the graphics and also the updates in correlation to the real life. And in this year's game, of course, they had to update all of the cars because of the new regulations and new design. So all of that has been brought over, but on top of that, adding some new tracks such as Miami and also adapting the updates to the real track are things that you're going to notice within the game. I actually did go to the Miami Grand Prix, so it was really cool to see it in the video game because it is just so accurate, the graphics look great, but on top of that, the actual feedback and what you feel in like a direct drive steering wheel setup is also something that I definitely noticed when I was driving around. Another big feature that I saw in their previews that I was really excited for was the driver's sound perspective, which is just a lot more immersive, and especially with how important the sound aspect is when it comes to shifting, I love that and definitely noticed a huge difference there as well. But on top of that, the more immersive experience of being able to go through the formation lap and warm up your tires and line up in the grid position as accurately as possible just adds another layer of realism. But in addition to that, the interactive aspect of the pit stop is also great. In the previous games, you kind of just went to the pit stop and it did its thing. But of course, in real life Formula One, there are many variables when it comes to the pit stop. Even the best teams can make a mistake during a pit stop, maybe take a little bit longer than they'd like, and in some cases, it can make a huge impact on the race. So adding that variability of driving into the pit lane yourself and also the potential of a team making a mistake is just another great dimension to have. There is also a supercar mode where you can just pick a car that's from your garage and take it on the track, drive it around, and it's just very different from driving the Formula One car. I think just from the game itself, obviously I haven't driven a real Formula One car or let alone a supercar on an F1 track, but it just goes to show how much grip Formula One cars have, even compared to some of the supercars and sports car on the market. So having all these different modes and the F1 life really do bring this whole experience together, but personally, I just like to play the Grand Prix mode and the time trial because I'm relatively new to the game still. I have probably about 10 hours of overall practice, including on the Formula One 2021 game. So as I get a little bit better, I hope to try to take advantage of more aspects of the game. So now that you guys have seen my time trials, I've been trying to improve slowly and just figure out the techniques of like engine braking, braking points, and just pushing the limits of the car. And I do find that like the progression and improvements are moving quite quickly, but I do gain a lot of benefit from watching YouTube videos of how other people drive the same track, including Formula One drivers. I've seen the hot laps that Red Bull Racing puts on their channel with like Max Verstappen going a lap around, and just being able to try to match that and find all the details is very important. But now I'm actually going to be getting a quick tutorial and some tips and tricks from someone who really knows what they're doing. So let's just go ahead and get started.
Okay. We'll cut that, but I mean, it's helpful to a point. But then I think where you're at now, I want you to use the markers on the track. So remember here's 75 meters. So 50, 100 now. Get it in. There you go. Off we go. Just bring it in. Patience. Look towards the exit. Off we go. Good. Looking down at the next apex. Bring it in. Patience. Patience. So although we've removed the racing line, you're going to be doing best to like your better technique. It might take a while. So we're going to brake a bit earlier up here than last time. Now, fraction too late, it's killing you on the exit. So we're going to bring the braking point 10 meters earlier than what you did then. 75 meters here seems to be working for us. Right, just bring it in the pits and we'll have a quick chat. So like I said to you, Justin, I think the racing line's great to get you to a point, but I think now you're at the point where you should be like using your own references on the track. And so you started to get into a great rhythm there where, yeah, we were about a second off your best, but you are doing it without the racing line, and I believe that that's a better way to do it if you want to remain consistent and improve yourself. In terms of where you can improve like your fundamental technique, there's a couple of things that I'm seeing. One is you probably, it's hard because I can't see your eyes, but you probably need to try and get your vision a little bit further ahead.
Further, yeah.
So as a rule of thumb, you want to look like a couple of seconds ahead of yourself. When you're in the braking zone, you want to be looking across at the apex. So you know when you get to the turning point looking through the corner, you know when and how much to turn the car into the corner.
Yeah.
And then just before you get to the apex, you want to shift your vision up to the exit point, so you know how much and when you can get back on the accelerator pedal. So we're going to do a session where we're just working on your vision, and maybe we reduce the pace by 10% or so, but I just want you to train your eyes. Look at the apex, look at the middle of the curve, that's where you won't need to end up. Off we go then. That's it. Look at the exit curve now. That's good, there you go. Look at the exit curve, there you go. This is smooth, look at the apex. Look at the exit, a little bit hot on the way in there, but you see how that adds to the fluidity?
Yeah.
And I don't care if you're 3 or 4 seconds off the pace, I want that fluidity. Look at the apex. Look at the exit, there you go, Justin. So we're not carrying the speed through there that we need to, but I want you just to hook up on those apexes. You need to build that foundation. That's it. Remember, next one we're just looking for the apex on the inside, get the car on the outside, and then get it hooked up. Get it in, a little bit wide, don't worry, carry on. So you're much better off doing these laps where it's like constructive. Exit, look at the exit, off you go, good. You use a bit more road on the way out, okay? So get your vision up and out a bit earlier. When you're looking at the apex, shift it instantly to the exit, right? So you can see that straight away. Look at the apex, look round at the exit, look at the curb, that's it. Okay, get it out there, wider. If you're not looking at the exit curbing on the way out, Justin, you're not going to be able to get the car out there, so you need to move your eyes. Okay, that was a great kind of second half of the session there. Can you feel it building?
Yeah, I think driving without the racing line is definitely, I guess, the way to get better over time. But yeah, first few laps are definitely a bit weird. You have to remember where the turns are coming up and get a better sense for the apex, and also, but I think the strategy of holding it a little bit before jumping on the throttle, and also looking at the apex and making sure we use all of the track possible, but getting on the acceleration once the car is lined up properly, those are all really good tips.
The big talk in this year's game though is virtual reality, and that is something that a lot of you guys commented on my previous video that I should go ahead and try, but being a first-time Formula 1 setup maker, I didn't really want to make it too complicated, but when I saw the previews of the F1 22 game and how well optimized it is for VR, I figured I had to try it out, and some of the friends that had a preview of the game also told me how incredible of an experience it is. It is amazing. I already tried to make a very immersive experience with that 49-inch display and having a very sharp cockpit view, but in the VR experience, being able to look around and feel like you're actually driving a Formula 1 car, it is very well executed and something that you should definitely set up if you're an enthusiast of the game. With all the graphics details and being able to hear the cars around you on the left and right side while being able to check your mirrors or focusing straight forward, just brings all the best aspects of virtual reality with a game that takes full advantage of it. So in terms of some of the improvements that I plan to make to my setup, it is one of those things that is constantly changing. Having a 49-inch display is definitely one that I'm going to stick to, but I also want to try some other steering wheels and drive setups as well. I did pick up a new pedal, but I also want to go ahead and install this Thrustmaster steering wheel relatively soon because it does have the telemetry data built into a screen on the front. And I know more advanced Formula 1 simulator steering wheels have that, but I don't really want to go through the crazy setup process, so I feel like this is a relatively plug-and-play option, and if you have like an Xbox or PlayStation, you can actually also use this steering wheel setup as well. It is constructed out of carbon fiber, but I think at the end of the day, the most important thing, and what really addresses the field of view issues that a lot of you guys mentioned in my original simulator video, is how I can have the screen just showcase the view of the car and hide the steering wheel entirely when I have all of the shifts and the gear numbers built into the screen itself. And it's just like a very authentic experience because Thrustmaster had teamed up with Scuderia Ferrari to build an exact replica of the SF1000. So in future videos and like the cool tech, you're gonna see this in action, but just being able to fine tune the setup and enjoy the game as much as possible is what I'm trying to do as a Formula 1 fan. The game is available right now for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, so make sure you go ahead and check the link down below. And a huge thanks to EA Sports and Codemasters for sponsoring this video. So at the end of the day, I hope you guys enjoyed this video on the channel. I know it's a little bit different, but if you did, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel, drop a like on this video, leave a comment down below of what you think, and I'll see you all in the next one.